If you want to raise your vibe, you need to start protecting your energy, because there's 4 ways that your energy is going to get knocked down that are really simple. They're right in front of you. But so many of us, myself included, make the mistake of not paying enough attention to them. So let's talk about them. Number 1, how many times have you heard people say you're the product of the 5 or 10 people you surround yourself with? Have you ever thought a little bit deeper about why that is? I'll tell you why. It's because the energy of emotions are contagious. Feelings are contagious. So if you're around someone that brings you down, right? Even if your vibe is here, if their vibe is here, the way that we resonate with each other, like it tends to equal out, right? So even if your vibe's high, you might get them to come up a little bit, but they're also going to pull you down a little bit, right? So you have to be very careful with the people that you surround yourselves with. So if you're hanging out with someone who's low vibe all the time, the odds of you eventually developing a low vibe is going to increase over time. So be very careful with who you surround yourself with. And also, don't forget, one of the biggest things that we do all the time we don't pay enough attention to is the food that we put in our body. Now listen, I just ate some cake, some cheesecake just now, but I'll be the first to tell you this, honest truth. I don't feel great. I don't feel alive. Matter of fact, I almost decided not to do this video for one single reason, because the way my stomach feels. Like, how perfect is that? And that's actually why I'm doing this video, because I'm like, this is exactly the type of thing that lowers your energy. It lowers your vibe. If you want to protect your energy and you want to raise your vibe, be more careful about the food you eat. Because think about it. I know with me, if I eat a really good, crisp salad, it has to be crisp. I can't deal with dead, limp lettuce. It just doesn't work, right? Just because it's healthy, if it's limp and kind of dead, it has the opposite effect for me. But if I have like a fresh, mild, just a little bit of feta, a nice, maybe homemade dressing that I made from scratch, and a little bit of avocado and some olives and some grilled chicken, I feel great after I eat, right? But after just I hardly even had any cheesecake just now. I literally cut the smallest slice I possibly could from some cake yesterday, and it was just enough where even the full slice didn't come. You know, when you try to cut one of those slices, you don't get the whole slice off. It was only like half a slice. That alone was enough, and the sugar was enough to kind of knock me down a bit, right? Feel a little lethargic, feel a little tired. Now, you might say, well, okay, well, take that a step further. Like, how does that affect my job, my relationships, my life? Well, I'll tell you why. Because it's these little things that you don't see that happen, right? So for example, there's a book that I was thinking about reading tonight. If I, let's say, have too much sugar and I feel a little lethargic and tired, and I have a choice between read 20 pages or a chapter in a book or lay in my Yogi Boo and watch some Netflix, like, what do you think I'm going to take, right? You eat the cake, you're more likely to do Netflix. You eat the healthy food that makes you feel alive, you're going to be more likely to read the book. Now, that may not change your life, but over time, if I keep watching Netflix, it becomes a habit and a pattern that's repeated time and time again. That eventually has a net negative effect. But then that positive effect is, all right, maybe I only read 5 pages. Maybe I read 20. But maybe there's one thing that I read that changes one of the decisions I make tonight or tomorrow and starts to steer me down this different path. Don't forget, it's like taking steps. Each and everything you do is a step. Is it a step in this direction, a stp in that direction? Well, don't forget, one step isn't going to change your future, right? Usually. But if you take 78 steps that way, that's when it starts to have a negative impact, right? If you're not walking in the right direction, you're not taking steps in the right direction. So it's not the one step. It's not the one time you eat cake. I can have cake and my life will be completely fine, right? I can hang out with someone who's miserable for an hour or two and my life will probably still be fine. But the thing is it's how many times do you do this over an extended period of time? And that's when it all starts to add up. So first thing is people you hang out with. Second thing is the food you eat. Third thing is the media you consume. Think about it. especially with YouTube, right? Look at your YouTube channel. Before you clicked on this video, the algorithm is already feeding you a lot of what you tend to click on. I was looking for this older 2014 Mercedes that I want. Now all of a sudden that's all I see in my feed. And of course, with the type of videos I do, I always like to check around, see what everyone else is doing. I get a lot of those videos too. The thing is this, whatever you click on or whatever you choose to click on, you're gonna get more of it, right? And same thing, if you watch YouTube, you watch TV, you tend to consume media that oftentimes is consuming you. And so you have to be careful. Think about this. You watch the news, especially right around now, what's gonna happen? You're gonna see drama, pain, fear. Don't forget, that's how they get your attention. It's all fear-based. You watch the news, you're gonna be like, oh wow, did you hear what happened here? Did you hear? Then what's gonna happen is the conversation you're gonna have with others are you're not only gonna lower your vibe and your energy, but then when you have conversations with others, you're gonna be like, hey, did you hear? Did you hear? Did you hear? What are you gonna do then? You're gonna bring them down with you. And the same thing happens in the reverse. What if you actually stay away from the media and the negative aspects of it? But what if you give an ear to a friend who does consume negative, fear-based media? It's still gonna have an impact on you. Don't forget, energy is this always constantly moving thing, but you want it to move in the right direction. And you certainly want it to move in the direction that you want it to go, not the direction that other people have brought their energy and want you to go with them, right? Because misery loves company, right? So if someone's miserable and they're fearful about what's going on TV, do you really think they want to hear about how great your day was? Maybe they do, but for the most part, they probably want to resonate and marinate in that vibe and that emotion that they've been sitting in from consuming the wrong media. So be very cognizant and consciously aware of the media you consume, because whatever you consume is also consuming you. So that's number 3, the media you consume. And finally, number 4, and this is something that I've given a lot more energy and attention to recently, because I've realized how powerful an effect it has on protecting my energy and raising my vibe. Think about it. The things you hear, music, right? Music, sound therapy, it's a thing. There's hertz, there's resonance, there's frequencies. I can show you all kinds of things that will blow your mind when it comes to sound healing, sound therapy. I'm not even that into it, to be perfectly honest with you, but I will say this, I believe in it because I see what it does and it makes sense from an energy standpoint. You could have 2 tuning forks, and if they're tuned to the same frequency, this one over here could be vibrating and it's gonna make this one vibrate as well. They're not even connected, they're not even touching. How powerful is that? So music that vibrates at the right frequency will help you vibrate at the right frequency. If you listen to stuff that's a little too down and out, like there's some country songs where you lose your dog, you lose your truck, you lose your wife, you lose your grandparents, it's probably maybe got a good beat to it. And sure, not every song needs to be happy, but if you keep listening to that kind of song, it's probably gonna bring you down eventually. If you listen to music that's a little bit angry and aggressive, well, guess what? You might be a little aggressive and angry, right? I know with me, if I want to get pumped up, I don't listen to Beethoven. I listen to stuff that's a little aggressive, right? Why? Because it's resonating at a certain frequency that I want to raise up to. And so if I want to be aggressive, angry, and really put that energy into the weights and have a good workout, I know what kind of music to listen to. Now, if all of a sudden I'm trying to relax at night, obviously I'm not going to listen to that music. I'm going to listen to something that's a little more relaxed, a little more comforting. So there's the proof, there's the evidence. So don't overthink this whole raising your vibe thing and managing your emotions and manifesting and law of attraction. Don't overthink it so much. I just gave you 4 of the most simple examples. People, food, media, music. But here's the thing. Here is the most important thing of this entire video, is that are you going to be consciously aware of these 4 items today, tomorrow, the day after, right? All of us make the mistake of getting caught up in the minutia, caught up in the negative vibes, caught up in the drama, right? Because drama of media can capture your attention. The drama of a friend who's going to say, you're not going to believe what just happened at work. You're not going to believe this, right? It's so easy to get caught up in it. Just choose not to. It's all a choice. Life is about choices. Make better choices. Like watching one of these videos and subscribing to this channel. Thank you so much.